A massive fraud scandal unfolding in Minnesota, turning into a wake-up call on America's broken welfare system. As more details come to light about scams that bilk taxpayers out of what could be more than $1 billion. Yes, they sound like Dr. Evil. It's $1 billion. Welcome to a new hour of America Reports. I'm John Roberts in Washington. That's real money, Sandra.
That is real money. Good to be with you on this Friday, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. So one startling example sticking out concerns a program to help recovering addicts find stable housing. Initial estimates for the housing program was for just under $3 million annually. But an indictment shows grifters fraudulently billed Medicaid more than $100 million last year alone. Garrett Tenney is live on this out of Chicago for us. What do you have, Garrett?
Well, Sandra, several of the whistleblowers in Minnesota have told state lawmakers that by the time these investigations are through, they believe the actual size of this fraud, the amount of taxpayer dollars that has been stolen, could be higher than $8 billion. We are already seeing some of that. 2 days into the Small Business Administration's investigation, Secretary Kelly Loeffler says the agency has uncovered at least $1 million in PPP fraud. And the state itself is now looking into the possibility of fraud in another Medicaid program. Minnesota's Department of Human Services is now pausing the issuing of new licenses for disability service providers over concerns of fraud after an explosion in the number of applications for new licenses over the past 5 years, going up 283%, while the number of people needing those services only increased by 25%. Governor Tim Walz, who is up for re-election, is under fire for all of this happening under his watch, but he says they have investigated every claim of fraud that's come in, something whistleblowers dispute, and says the state is taking the steps it needs to keep it from happening again.
We've acknowledged that this is serious, needs to stop. It is stopping. People are continuing to go to prison. I think the good news for Minnesotans to know when that 90-day pause is over and the third-party audits are done, we will have a better picture than we've ever had, which I think is really good.
While all of these investigations are getting underway, Republican lawmakers are sounding the alarm about Minnesota's new paid leave program launching next month that allows anyone in the state, regardless of their citizenship status, to take 12 weeks of paid leave a year paid for by the state. GOP lawmakers say the program is ripe for abuse.
It was written so broadly that you can take advantage of it and abuse it, and no one's going to come looking for you. The taxpayers put in a bunch of money to launch the whole thing. So this is going to be the next horrible thing coming out of Minnesota.
And it's important to remember the FBI is also still investigating the massive fraud schemes there. This morning, Attorney General Pam Bondi said there are going to be a lot more arrests on this coming. Sandra?
Okay, thanks for keeping track of it for us. Garrett Tenney in Chicago on that for us. John?
All right, let's dig deeper into all of this by bringing in Texas Republican Congressman Brandon Gill, a member of the House Oversight Committee, which is now investigating fraud in Minnesota's social services system. Congressman, good to have you with us this Friday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. So
Thanks
there
for having me.
Plenty of accusations that Governor Tim Walz turned a blind eye to this. And the Wall Street Journal sums it all up this way, quote, Democrats won't acknowledge fraud because they want more Americans on the dole. Welfare is central to their political business model. Republicans who make this scandal about immigration are missing the point and missing an opportunity to educate Americans about the entitlement state grift. What do you say to that?
Well, I would say, first of all, that I agree that the problem is that the welfare state has gotten far too big with almost virtually very few real eligibility checks or anti-fraud provisions. But I do think that there is clearly an immigration component to this as well. You know, the famous economist Milton Friedman famously remarked that you can't have both open borders and a welfare state. And for decades, the Democrats have been trying to have both. They've invited as many people as they possibly could from all over the globe into our communities, including tens of thousands of Somalians into Minnesota, and then opened up the welfare state to provide benefits with almost no anti-fraud provisions whatsoever. And this is the obvious result. We knew this would happen, and yet Democrats are pushing this for political gain.
So still sticking with the Wall Street Journal, Kim Strassel is a great observer of the political condition, not only here in Washington, D.C., but across the country. She writes the lessons of Minnesota's fraud. She says, quote, Minnesota raises to alarm level a separate need for reset. The system itself, the government machine, is broken. It's heaving duplicative federal state programs awash in forms and bureaucracies and ancient mainframes has already suffered Soviet-style collapse. The system serves more as a cash machine for criminals than a safety net for the needy. I mean, reforming the system is going to take years, so what do we do in the meantime?
Well, I'll tell you what House Republicans are working on and what we already had done in the president's tax bill, which he signed into law earlier this year, was to start to right-size the welfare state and say, introduce basic ideas like if you are receiving Medicaid or food stamps, you need to either be working or seeking work. We tightened up eligibility requirements. We added in provisions that means we need to check more often whether people who are receiving benefits actually should be receiving benefits. The reality is whenever you have fraud, especially on the scale that we're seeing here, that is money that is taken out of hardworking American taxpayers' wallets and put into the hands of criminals. That's absolutely grotesque. And that's stuff that we need to be laser focused on fixing right now.
So President Trump is really incensed about this. He had very harsh words for the people who were involved in this, as well as some other members of the Somali community in Minnesota. This is what he said yesterday. Listen here.
We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain.
Congressman, what do you make of what the president said there?
Well, I think the president is pointing out a basic truth that we shouldn't be importing tens of thousands or more people from low-trust societies where this type of fraud and corruption is common, and it is common in Somalia. And we've got to recognize that whenever we import cultures that accept this type of behavior, we're going to see that type of behavior right here in America. And again, that means taking money from hardworking American citizens and giving it to fraudsters and criminals. That's because of open borders, it's because of mass migration, and it's because of a welfare system that is so large that there's no possible way that you can check that the people who are receiving benefits actually should be receiving benefits.
And if Kelly Loeffler is correct, this could be just the tip of a very big iceberg. Congressman, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.